Hi there guys, I'm Stuart Williams from Birmingham Deacon. I'm sitting with David Yelloly from Prosperity Wealth, so I thought I'd let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm David Yelloly, Global Sales and Marketing Ambassador for Prosperity Worldwide.
Fantastic. We have been touring around Birmingham today. We've looked at the myriad of different developments that are going up at the moment. It's a really exciting time, so I want to get first-hand information from yourself.
Sure.
What have you seen happen? What are the changes you've seen in Birmingham over the last 10, 15 years?
Right, okay. I'd like to go back further than that. The first time I came to Birmingham was about 1986, which is hard to believe looking at me. And when I came for a job interview, and you couldn't get me out of Birmingham quick enough afterwards because I thought this is a godforsaken place. Spaghetti Junction, the Aston Expressway, Brummy accents, dour buildings, all dilapidated and scruffy. But I stayed because actually the community is very nice and there is business and enterprise, and there was. But what has happened over the last 5 years has just transformed the city, and we're only probably 25% through that change. So the dynamism in the market is fantastic.
Well, I think you can actually see it's palpable at the moment. You can see the enterprise, you can see the levels of employment, the footfall is just incredible, the population growth here. So in your opinion then, I think you've answered it in that question, why should investors look at Birmingham as an investment opportunity?
Well, Birmingham is the second city, and I think it lost that title probably to Manchester over the last 15 or so years, just because there's been no inward investment in the city. But the Birmingham City Council should be applauded for the way they've picked up the mantle and tried to regenerate Birmingham, which has undoubtedly suffered as a result of the industrial malaise in the motor industry, rather like Coventry. But Birmingham has reinvented itself, and that's main focus has been on making the most of the educational facilities that exist in Birmingham and really developing the city into the best city for further education in the country, without question. And that
5 universities here?
Exactly.
73,000 students at the moment.
So
active.
per capita,
Yeah.
it's the biggest population of students in the UK.
Wow.
As a percentage of the total population.
All right, that makes
So
perfect sense.
that's very, and of course the very nature of that means that you've got a more dynamic,
Younger population, yeah.
more interesting, and what happens is those people all actually want to seek work in the area to which they've become accustomed over their 3, 4 or 5 year
They grow roots, as we say, yeah.
education. So if they can find employment, they will, and they will stay. And so again, great foresight with Birmingham City Council, who decided that what they needed to do was then to attract the big employers from London up to Birmingham, saying we've got a captive audience, we can provide you with office space at a fraction of the prices you're paying in the city or in Canary Wharf. Why don't you come up? Transport links are improving all the time. Prospect of HS2 will enhance that still further, and so that was the perfect storm really to actually enhance what was happening in Birmingham.
Fantastic. Let's have a quick look here. The other things I wanted to find out were, how's it been from a prosperity point of view over the last 5 years, and what are your plans in the next 5 years?
Okay.
And what have you got in place to achieve those?
Okay. So Prosperity is still a relatively young company, trading for about 11 years now in this particular property sector. Fascinatingly, when we started, we focused on a Birmingham site, which was very successful. But after that, we went out looking for value elsewhere in satellite cities like Peterborough and Derby and Southend and Nottingham. But around us, because this is our home, around us we saw this development of the city, and we suddenly realised that what we should be doing was investing most of our time in finding suitable sites in Birmingham, and that's of course what we have done. Not to the exclusion of others, but there has been a focus on Birmingham, and that I think will continue for some time to come. We still believe Birmingham is a very, very good place to invest at the moment. Outside of that, the delivery of what we're trying to achieve isn't just a apartment centric. We're looking over the next 12 to 18 months to start providing houses and providing starter homes, and even maybe more attractive 3, 4, 5 bedroom houses to enhance and diversify what the company is offering.
So that's almost like a ripple effect from the city centre outwards.
Exactly.
Okay, fantastic. Well, with that in mind then, the locations within Birmingham are quite specific. There are a few different districts within the city centre. We've got a site, 1BHM, which is up in the Jewellery Quarter of Birmingham city centre, which is not too far from where we're sitting now.
10 minutes walk at the most.
10 minutes walk at the most. About 7 minutes for me, David.
Yeah, you've got long legs there.
What would you tell us about the location for 1BHM?
Yeah, it is a prime location. It is 7 to 10 minutes walk from where we are now, and probably about 7 minutes walk to the financial district, which is the prime attraction from our point of view, and the reason that we like the site so much, or the prime reason that we like the site so much. Quite beyond that as well, it is possibly the highest point of Birmingham, certainly very, very elevated. We're building a quite substantial building there with 17 stories, and those stories, the views will be fantastic all over Birmingham, and of course into the Warwickshire and North Birmingham.
Some stunning scenery around. I mean, we've taken a few vantage points up at the library today, which is an incredible building in itself. And the views are just incredible from up there. So I think that's on the 9th floor, so you can imagine what it's like going slightly higher. Right, the location for BHM, across the road, I'm to understand that there is the introduction of a London Basin home counties developer, Galliard Homes. They've bought a site across the road from our site in 1BHM.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that affects us, or what the benefits or the downsides are about that?
I mean, we know Galliard quite well. We've certainly talked to them about the prospect of doing projects together in the past, but we haven't actually managed to get any further than having discussions. But they've always been a very professional business, and we respect what they do. They've come into Birmingham to deliver the same type of property that we deliver. The specifications are very common to ours, but their pricing is certainly marginally higher than ours, which is good news for us as far as we're concerned, and we're quite happy for them to carry on pricing.
Good news for early investors,
in excess of ours. So we're happy to have the competition, but we believe that our site, which is slightly more elevated than theirs, and also a more attractive building than theirs, will be a better long-term prospect for our investors.
Superb. One thing, a question that is on everybody's lips at the moment, we get it all the time, is from a developer's point of view, from an in-house point of view, what are your thoughts on Brexit and how that is affecting the property market, Birmingham itself, prosperity wealth itself? How's Brexit being received here?
Okay. Over 50% of the business that we have done up until recently has been with clientele that are based in Asia and the Middle East. And as a result, I think we've been pretty well insulated by the effects of Brexit, because of course what has happened is sterling has depreciated. Some of us might argue way too much, but it has depreciated. And that's made the value of the offerings that we have out in the market even more attractive than they were to start with to a non-sterling investor. So we've been very insulated by the effects of Brexit and sterling's depreciation. I, for one, think the whole thing is oversold, and sterling will strengthen rapidly once certainty comes back into the market, or more certainty, and it wouldn't be difficult to have less certainty now. So undoubtedly over the last few weeks we've seen a quietening in the market, because I think everyone is so exhausted by what's happened with Brexit. But whether we're in the European market or out, we will continue to trade with Europe. I personally don't think it will have a particularly detrimental effect on the trade that takes place in Europe, and I do think it will actually have a positive effect on the trade that takes place elsewhere. So from our point of view, it's business as usual, and we don't think Brexit's going to have a marked detrimental effect overall.
Excellent. The way we see it is, and the way I've often said it to investors is, the fundamentals are still there, no matter whether we're in the European Union or not. The fact of the matter is we still need housing here to an acute level. It's a real shortage at the moment, and that's not going to change.
I travel all over the world, and the acid test when it comes to the strength of an economy is how busy is the public transport, how busy are the roads, how busy are the airports. And the UK, even with this Brexit thing being going on now for 3 years, is still much busier than it is in Spain or Portugal or Italy. Germany is the same, but I think the UK economy is very robust and probably much stronger than a number of commentators realise.
Fantastic. That's a really, really interesting barometer that you use there, the footfall in an airport and things like that. So very, very good point. Finally, then we go on to the market here. We talked about the demand a minute ago, but what, from your point of view, I know you have an in-house team called Lamont who manage and run the vast majority of your deliveries. What is your idea, if you have any, on the rental demand still in Birmingham? What's the market like at the moment?
The market is very strong. We don't see any fall off of that. If anything, there's a rise in the demand. We have a completed site 5 minutes walk from here, and we manage all 60 apartments that are let in that building, and we have a waiting list for those apartments. It is a very good location. It's 5 minutes walk from the financial district, but we have no problem in letting any units that become vacant, and there's a clear rise in rental yields. So it is possible at each change of tenant to find that the rents that we're able to charge are rising. So again, the appetite for living in Birmingham by the young professionals within walking distance or tramway distance of their place of work is set to rise for some time to come.
Superb. I mean, we walked today from New Street up to Summerhill Road up towards the BHM site. And during that walk, we were passed by probably 4 or 5 buses. So the network is really good. The transport network is so good, and that just means that everything is accessible within a few minutes. David, thank you very much for sitting with us today. Really, really nice to see you again, and look forward to being up here again with the team.
Okay.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye bye.